They said it was for my own good when my son talked about sending me to a nursing home. His wife stood beside him, already picturing my house with new paint and a for sale sign. The house I built with my late husband. The house they planned to sell. After moving me out of the way. So before I tell you how it all began, tell me this in the comments. What would you do if your own child tried to take your home in your old age? Because what I did next, I did quietly, calmly, and it changed everything they thought they controlled. Now listen carefully. This story is not about weakness. It's about a grandmother who remembered something they forgot. I'm Margaret Wilson, 73, still living in the same house in Columbus, Ohio, where I built a life from scratch. My husband, Tom, passed 9 years ago. Heart attack. One moment he was there. The next gone. The house went quiet, but I didn't leave. This place holds too much of us. Tom and I raised our son Daniel right here. Long shifts. Short nights. Skip vacation so he could have a better future. We taught him right from wrong, respect, and family first. He used to call this house home. Funny thing is, the day he stopped calling it that is the day my real trouble began. Daniel, my son, he's 35, married 6 months to Clara. After their wedding, life was pretty normal at first. They'd visit on weekends and occasionally I'd drop by their place for dinner. Everything felt chill. Family stuff, you know? But then 3 weeks ago it all flipped. Suddenly they're showing up almost every day. Not weekends anymore. Every single day. Mom, Clara said one morning, flashing that sweet little grin. These walls, they're looking kinda dull, don't you think? You really should repaint. I forced a laugh, hiding the sting. Dull? Sweetheart, these walls hold decades of memories. They're fine. Daniel jumped in, trying to sound casual. Yeah, Mom, but maybe new furniture too? That old couch. It's kinda tired. Tired? I said, heart tightening. This couch held all our laughter. All your dad's old stories, even your first steps. Clara tilted her head. All sugar and spice. Mom, it's just time for a refresh. Brighten things up, fix the doors, maybe replace the furniture. You know, make it feel modern. I chuckled, but deep down, ouch. A little sting. First I thought maybe they're just concerned. Maybe. But every time they came over, every single day, the same damn conversation. Mom, these walls, paint them. Mom, that door's squeaky, better fix it. Mom, this old furniture, it's time. And it hurt. Big time. I tried telling myself it's okay, they just care. But the words rang hollow. The more they pushed, the more I realized this wasn't about concern. This was about control. I remember thinking quietly over my morning coffee. Dang, they're trying to change my home, my life. Like I'm some stranger walking through. And that's when the first seeds of real trouble started to grow. Something in their tone. The way they kept pointing out the walls, the doors, the furniture. It cut deeper than any words should. And I knew, this wasn't just concern. It was 11 in the morning, the kind of quiet hour where the house finally feels calm. I was sitting by the window, sunlight resting on the floor, reading an old paperback. The clock was ticking. The kettle was still warm. For a moment, life felt steady. Then the door opened. Daniel walked in. Clara right behind him. And there was a man with them. I lifted my glasses and looked up slowly. He wasn't family. Didn't smile. Didn't say hello. Mid-40s maybe. Clean suit. Sharp eyes. The kind of man who walks like he already owns the place. I closed my book. Daniel, I asked carefully. Who's this gentleman? He didn't meet my eyes. I'll explain later, Mom. That answer hit me wrong. The man didn't sit down. He didn't talk much either. He started walking. Through the living room. Down the hallway. Checking the doors. Tapping the walls. Looking up at the ceiling, down at the floors. Like he was inspecting my life. My chest tightened. I watched him, then I looked at Clara. She was standing there with a big smile. Not a friendly one. Not nervous. A satisfied smile. like she already knew the ending. That's when worry turned into fear. After a while, they stepped out onto the porch. I followed, my heart pounding so loud I could barely hear myself breathe. Daniel leaned toward the man and said casually, too casually, "So, did you like the house?" I froze. My ears rang. "What the hell are you talking about?" I snapped. "Daniel, what is going on?" He lifted his hand. "Mom, calm down. I'll tell you everything. Just give me a minute." The man shrugged. "It's a nice place. I'll need some time to think. I'll get back to you." Then he walked away. Just like that. Daniel turned to me. "Mom, come inside. We need to talk." I stared at him. "You're damn right we do." We sat in the living room. On the same couch Tom and I picked out together. The same couch where Daniel learned to read. Where his father fell asleep watching the news. Daniel rubbed his hands together. Took a breath. "Mom, we decided to sell this house." My heart dropped. "Sell?" I whispered. "How can you even say that?" "I need money," he said. "I'm starting a business. This house is worth a lot." My voice shook. "This house was built by your father. Every brick, every corner. This is our life." He sighed like I was being difficult. "Dad's gone, Mom. And we can't keep living like he's still here. We can't keep dying with a dead man." That line cut me deep. Before I could speak, Clara jumped in. "Oh, come on. Why are you making such a big deal? It's not that serious. It's just a house." I looked at her, stunned. "Just a house? I live here." "I won't allow this," I said, tears filling my eyes. Daniel leaned forward, voice firm. "You can't stop me. It was Dad's house, and after Dad, it's mine." Then he said it. "You've got 2 days to leave. If you want, I'll drop you at a nursing home." The room went silent. "I'm your mother," I whispered, my voice breaking. "How can you say this to me?" "Mom, I'm being realistic," he replied coldly. "I have my own family now. I can't take care of you." I searched his face. "You won't even let me stay with you?" Before he answered, Clara spoke fast. "No. We need our privacy. And who's gonna look after her at this age anyway?" "You're overreacting." She stood up. "Let's not drag this out. 2 days, Mom. Leave on your own. Or we'll put you in a nursing home. Trust me, you'll be happier there." They walked out. I stood there staring at the door long after it closed. Then my legs gave out. I sank to the floor and cried quietly. The kind of crying where your chest hurts but no sound comes out. After a while, I stood up and walked to the shelf. I picked up Tom's photo. "Look at him," I whispered. "This is what all our sacrifices became. Late nights. Missed vacations. Empty pockets. Also, Daniel could have more." Something snapped inside me. I wiped my tears. "No," I said softly. "I won't let this happen. This isn't just a house. This is my home." I grabbed my coat, took my purse, opened the door, and walked out, with a decision forming in my mind. That was the moment my tears stopped. And my mind started working. Because if they thought I was weak, they were about to learn the hard way. As I stepped out that door, they believed they had already won. What they didn't know, the real game had just begun. I just stepped onto the street and flagged down a cab. The whole ride to the attorney's office, I stared out the window. Houses passing by. Families walking dogs. Life moving on like nothing had just shattered inside me. But inside that cab, something in me had gone from broken to steady. The driver asked, "You okay, ma'am?" I swallowed. "Yeah, I will be." When we pulled up to Mr. Harris's office, I took a deep breath before stepping out. I'd known him for years. He handled Tom's paperwork after he passed. Inside, the receptionist smiled politely. "Good morning, Mrs. Wilson." "Morning, sweetheart," I replied, my voice calmer than I felt. Mr. Harris came out of his office and froze for a second when he saw my face. "Margaret," he said gently, shaking my hand, "what can I do for you?" We sat down. Before I told him anything, I asked one question. "Does Daniel know that this house is in my name?" Mr. Harris adjusted his glasses and checked the file. "No," he said firmly. "After your husband passed, Daniel never contacted me. Legally, the house is yours." I nodded slowly. So he didn't even know. That meant everything. I told Mr. Harris everything. Every word Daniel said. Every threat. The nursing home. The 2 days. He didn't interrupt. Just listened carefully. When I finished, he leaned back. "So, Margaret, what would you like me to do?" I took the deepest breath of my life. "I want a will drafted," I said, steady and clear. "Write it so no one can sell this house while I'm alive. I need it written clearly, so there's no loophole, no confusion." Mr. Harris scribbled notes, his pen pausing now and then as he glanced up at me, eyes sharp. "Understood. Anything else?" I met his gaze steadily and told him another point: just follow my instructions exactly. Every detail matters. He blinked, caught off guard. "Margaret, are you certain about this?" My jaw tightened. "I'm sure." The air between us held a tense, heavy pause. I said nothing more, letting the weight of my words hang. Whatever I had just told him, it had clearly shaken him. "If Daniel tries anything, he won't have a leg to stand on," I replied. "And that's exactly how I want it." He nodded. Within the hour, the paperwork was prepared. Witnesses were called in. Everything legal. Everything airtight. When I signed that paper, my hand didn't shake this time. It felt like reclaiming my breath. Mr. Harris looked at me seriously. "Margaret, I advise you to notify your bank immediately. Make sure no checks or withdrawals are approved without your direct authorization." "I'm already headed there," I said. And I meant it. I looked him in the eye and said, "I appreciate you more than you know." Then I turned and walked out, feeling a little stronger. I asked the driver to drop me at Buckeye State Bank in Columbus, the place where Tom and I had saved every hard-earned dollar of our life. The bank manager, Mr. Collins, greeted me warmly. "Mrs. Wilson, always good to see you." "Likewise," I replied, sitting down. "I need to review my account." He pulled up the file. Then he hesitated. "There was something I meant to mention. A few weeks ago, your son came in asking about your account balance." I felt my stomach drop. "He what?" "He asked how much was in the account. We didn't disclose anything, of course." For a second I couldn't breathe. So he wasn't just after the house. He wanted the money too. The money Tom and I saved penny by penny. The money we skipped vacations for. The money we put away for security. I swallowed the hurt and straightened my back. "Effective immediately," I said firmly. "No checks, no transfers, no withdrawals, no discussions about my account unless I'm physically present." "Understood." Mr. Collins nodded. "Absolutely, Mrs. Wilson." "Good," I replied. "Because I'm not playing around anymore." When I stepped out of that bank, the air felt different. Clearer. I took another cab home. When I walked through the front door, I paused. Looked around. The couch. The walls. The hallway. "My home," I whispered. And for the first time in days, I smiled. "You're safe now." That night, I sat on my bed holding Tom's photo frame. "I saved the house," I told him softly. My voice cracked. "But I think we lost our son." I stared at Daniel's childhood picture sitting beside Tom's frame. "That's not our little boy anymore," I whispered. "Not the one who used to hold my hand crossing the street." Tears rolled down quietly. "He's not that innocent Daniel." I lay back against the pillow, staring at the ceiling. And then another thought crept in. How will he react when he finds out? When he realizes the house isn't his? when he realizes the money isn't his, when he understands he gambled everything and lost. A slow, steady calm settled over me. Let him come. I closed my eyes. The day had started with threats and ended with silence. And somewhere between the tears and the memories, sleep found me. The house was mine, the memories mine. Now it was time to see if my son would ever recognize his own mother. The next morning around 10, I heard tires outside. Not one car. Two. I was in the kitchen pouring coffee when I glanced through the window. Daniel, Clara, and that same suited man from yesterday. Daniel stepped out like he owned the house. Calm, confident, adjusting his jacket like this was closing day. Like I was already halfway packed. I didn't move, didn't rush, didn't panic. I poured my coffee, added cream, stirred slowly, let them knock. 3 loud, impatient bangs. I opened the door. Daniel didn't even look at my face first. He looked past me, down the hallway, toward the stairs. Well, he said, you started packing? I raised one eyebrow. Good morning to you too. Clara brushed past me without permission, heels clicking sharply against the floor. Inspecting, calculating. The buyer followed, holding a folder tight to his chest. Daniel clapped his hands together once. All right, Mom. Mr. Carter's ready to move forward if everything looks good today. Like I was an obstacle on a checklist. I looked at the man. He gave me a polite, confused nod. Daniel kept going, talking fast now. We'll finalize. You'll have time to move. I told you 2 days is enough. 2 days. Like I was some tenant who missed rent. I walked slowly into the living room and sat down. Calm. Too calm. Daniel frowned. Mom, what are you doing? Sitting, I said evenly. In my house. Clara crossed her arms. We don't have time for drama. I looked directly at Daniel. You really thought I'd be packing, didn't you? He exhaled hard, irritated. Mom, don't make this harder than it needs to be. The papers are ready. Let's just handle this like adults. Adults. I repeated softly. The buyer cleared his throat. Is there a problem? I folded my hands in my lap. Yes, there is. Daniel's jaw tightened. Mom, I went to see Mr. Harris yesterday. He blinked. Our attorney. The air changed. Clara stopped moving. Daniel forced a laugh. Why would you do that? I looked at him the way I used to when he lied about breaking a lamp at 12. To confirm something. His confidence flickered. Confirm what? That this house, I said clearly, is legally in my name. Silence. Not small silence. Heavy silence. Clara stepped forward. That's not possible. Oh, it's very possible, I said calmly. And very legal. For the first time, Daniel actually looked at me. Really looked. And what he saw wasn't the mother he could pressure. It was someone steady. Unmovable. You don't get to use your father's name to push me out of my own home, I continued. His expression hardened. Mom, it's not yours. It's family property. Family property. The words cut deeper than he knew. Like I was temporary. Like I was just staying here. I inhaled slowly. Months before your father passed, he transferred this house fully into my name. Signed. Filed. Recorded. He told me, if I go first, I want you safe. Daniel froze. What? He didn't want me dependent on anyone. Daniel shook his head fast. No, that's not right. Dad wouldn't do that without telling me. He didn't need your permission. His face flushed. Mom, don't play games. I'm not playing, I replied steadily. And yesterday I signed my will. No one can sell this house while I'm alive. No one. The word echoed. The buyer straightened. Daniel, you said you had authority. Daniel stammered. I thought. You thought wrong, I said. Clara snapped. You went behind our backs? I almost smiled. Behind your backs? In my own home. Daniel dragged a hand through his hair, pacing now. His calm was gone. This is insane. I need that money. And I need respect, I shot back. That landed. The buyer slowly closed his folder. I think I'll step outside. You two need to sort this out. He walked out. Just like that. Deal gone. Daniel turned to me, anger exploding now. You embarrassed me. I stood up slowly. No, Daniel. You embarrassed yourself. You can't just cut me out like this. Oh, I can, I said quietly. And I did. His face burned red. So what? You're just going to sit here alone forever? You're choosing a house over your own son. There it was. The guilt card. My eyes filled, but I didn't let a single tear fall. I chose you every day of your life, I said softly. I chose you when I skipped meals so you could eat. I chose you when I sold my jewelry for your college tuition. I chose you when your father and I struggled so you wouldn't have to. My voice trembled. Not from weakness. From truth. But today, I said, lifting my chin, I choose myself. Clara scoffed. So you're picking your house over your son? I looked at Daniel. I'm choosing dignity. He opened his mouth. Nothing came out. No sarcasm. No confidence. No plan. Just shock. And the slow, painful realization that the woman he thought he could corner was never cornered at all. Clara grabbed his arm. Let's go. They stormed out. The door slammed. The walls didn't shake. The house didn't fall. And neither did I. He thought the house was his. He was wrong. They brought a buyer. I brought the truth. The door slammed behind them. I stood frozen, hands on Tom's picture. Unfreaking believable, I whispered. Shock hit first. Daniel, my own son, thought he could push me out. After everything. I sank into the chair, tracing Tom's face. Tom, can you believe this? Clara's smirk, Daniel's arrogance, it burned. But beneath that fire, relief. I'd protected my home. Not just a house. Our memories. Our life. You think I'm weak, huh? I muttered. Memories flashed. Tom in the rain, Daniel in pajamas, nights I skipped dinner so he could eat, selling my wedding ring for college. This house isn't theirs. It never was. A shiver ran through me. I can't let them take it. Not now, not ever. And then it clicked. My next move. Clear as daylight. I'm not done, I whispered to Tom's picture. They'll regret thinking I'm just some old lady. I set the photo down, heart racing. Every scratch, every dent, ours. Still mine. Daniel had changed. Clara had shown her colors. And oh, Daniel has no idea what's coming next. But oh, the storm isn't over. Daniel thinks he's won. Clara thinks she's clever. They have no idea the next move is already in motion. And it's going to hit harder than they ever imagined. The next evening, Daniel showed up again. Alone at first, or so I thought. Clara trailed behind, all smiles and perfume like she owned the place. Mom, Daniel started, his voice softer than usual, almost concerned. Hey, can we talk? I feel like we can fix this. I didn't move. Didn't flinch. My fingers tapped the edge of the counter. Clara stepped forward, leaning in, all sweetness. Mom, don't be upset. Daniel didn't mean. I cut her off with a sharp glance. Save it, Clara. I've seen this act before. Daniel smiled like he could charm the air itself. Look, Mom. I know things got heated. I didn't mean to hurt you. You know I love you, right? You're my mom, my only mom. My heart didn't flinch. My gut? It screamed liar. Love. I repeated, my voice low, sharp. Is that what you call marching into my home, giving me 2 days and acting like it's your right? His smile faltered. He reached out. Mom, come on. I'm trying. We can work this out. I'll even slow things down just for you. I let out a short, bitter laugh. Work this out. Daniel, I know every trick you've learned, every guilt trip, every sweet line. You think just because you say I love you, I'll forget how you really are. Clara huffed, clearly annoyed. Mom, you're overreacting. He's just overreacting. I snapped, pointing a finger. Do you see me cowering? Do you see me bending? No. I raised you, Daniel. I know the difference between truth and lies. And right now you're drowning in lies, Daniel. Daniel's jaw tightened. He tried again, softer this time. Mom, I just want to make things right. For all of us. You know I didn't want to. Stop. My voice cut through the air like glass. You think your words can fix what your actions broke? No. Not now. Not ever. You came in here thinking you could bully me. And Clara. I turned to her, my eyes cold. I see your little smile. You think you're part of this plan. But I see you too. Clara's grin wavered. She looked like a cat caught off guard. Daniel's eyes darted, trying to find a corner to hide in. But there was none. I know your tricks, Daniel, I said, voice steady now, almost calm. All your sweet talk. All your fake concern. It won't work on me. I am not some kid you can twist with promises or guilt. You might fool the world, but you don't fool me. Daniel swallowed hard, and for the first time I saw real uncertainty. He looked like the boy I once knew, replaced by someone greedy, arrogant, and desperate. Clara shifted behind him, muttering, She's impossible. Impossible? No. I am unstoppable. I leaned against the counter, eyes locked on Daniel. Now get out. Both of you. Before I change my mind about being patient. They left. Daniel dragging his pride. Clara clutching her smirk like a shield. The door closed behind them. I exhaled slowly, letting the quiet fill the room. The house felt safe again. My home. My memories. My life. And if Daniel thought he could manipulate me, he's got another thing coming. He thought sweet words would fix everything. He had no idea I'd already set something in motion. Something he wouldn't see coming until it was too late. It was Tuesday morning around 10:45 a.m. Sunlight pouring through the kitchen window when I heard a knock at the door. I was wiping down the counter, still in my house slippers, the smell of fresh coffee lingering in the air. For a second I just stood there, cloth in my hand, staring at the door. Another knock. Slow. Firm. I walked over and opened it. Daniel and Clara stood there. Daniel's shoulders were stiff, but his face carried that forced calm. Clara wore a polite smile, hands folded in front of her like she was attending Sunday service. Mom, Daniel said carefully, almost too carefully. We need to talk. Calmly. I studied his face for a moment, then nodded. All right, I said quietly, stepping aside. They walked in. Clara leaned in slightly. Good morning, Mom, she said sweetly. Daniel gave a short nod. Morning. Come in, I replied, closing the door behind them. We moved into the living room and sat down. Daniel on one end of the couch, Clara close beside him. I folded my hands in my lap. Calm, steady, and ready. Clara leaned forward. We've been thinking. Maybe we all just overreacted. Families fight, right? But we don't throw each other away. Throw each other away. I almost laughed. Daniel sat beside me, voice low and sweet. Mom, I love you. You know that. I got stressed. The business, the loan, everything. I didn't mean to pressure you. Give me another chance. Another chance. The audacity. I nodded slowly. Maybe I do need time to think. Relief flashed across their faces. I'll just step into my bedroom for a minute, I said. Inside, I locked the door. My hands were steady as I picked up my phone. I sent one short message to my attorney. Call Daniel. Tell him about the will. Within seconds, the reply came. Understood. I took a deep breath and walked back out. I sat beside them again like nothing happened. Clara touched my arm. Mom, we can start fresh. We can help you. We'll take care of you. Take care of me? Daniel added. You won't ever have to worry about anything again. I promise. And then, Daniel's phone rang. He glanced at it. His expression shifted. Excuse me, he muttered, stepping outside. A minute later, the door flew open. He stormed back in, face red, eyes blazing. Mom, what the hell did you do? He shouted. Clara jumped. Daniel. I blinked slowly. What happened? Don't act smart, he snapped. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Clara grabbed his arm. Who are you yelling at? She's your mother. My attorney just called me, Daniel growled. He told me about the will. I widened my eyes. Oh. Clara's voice trembled. What will? Daniel's jaw clenched. Not only is this house fully in her name, but she made it clear in the will that I have zero rights. No claim. No control over the house. Or the bank accounts. Silence. He swallowed hard. And after she's gone, everything goes to charity. Clara looked like someone had ripped the ground from under her feet. To charity, she whispered. I sat there calmly, watching. Daniel stared at me like I'd stabbed him. How can you be so cruel? I'm your son. Now I stood up. Slowly, I looked him dead in the eye. Cruel. My voice was steady, sharp. Was I cruel? Or were you? He opened his mouth. You didn't even think twice before trying to shove me out of my own home. I continued. You were ready to dump me in a nursing home like yesterday's trash. Clara stepped forward, defensive. This was his father's house. It's his right. I turned to her. The same house he was ready to sell a few days ago? I asked quietly. She went silent. And one more thing, I added. This is my house. In my name. What I choose to do with it. That's none of your business. Daniel ran a hand through his hair. Mom, I took a loan from the bank. I needed that house as backup. If I can't repay it, we're screwed. I didn't blink. You created that mess, I said. Now face it. You didn't think about me when you were making plans, did you? You didn't think about where I'd sleep. His shoulders dropped. Speechless. Then his face hardened. Mom, cancel the will, he said, voice low but sharp. Otherwise you're going to lose your son. The words hung in the air like smoke. If you don't cancel it, he continued, jaw tight, then our relationship ends right here. You choose that paper over me? Then we're done. I just stared at him. Shock washed over me, not because he threatened me, but because of how easily it came out of his mouth. Just like that. Lose your son. I took a slow, deep breath. I sacrificed a lot for you, I said quietly. More than you'll ever know. I gave up sleep. I gave up comfort. I even gave up pieces of myself. My voice steadied. But not anymore. He blinked. You didn't give me the respect I deserve. I continued, looking straight into his eyes. And I may be your mother, but I have self-respect too. The room felt still. And this time, I said firmly, I will not let anyone, not even my own son, push me down or threaten me into submission. Silence. Heavy. Final. Clara's voice turned cold. After she dies, we won't even get anything. Daniel looked at her, frustrated. Let's go. They walked out. Angry, shaken, worried. I followed quietly and locked the door behind them. But I didn't move away. Through the window, I watched them standing near the car. Daniel sighed. I thought I could convince her with love. She messed up everything. I can't believe she's my mother, he muttered. Those words hit harder than anything. Clara crossed her arms. After that old lady dies, we won't get a dime. Daniel exhaled. We'll figure something out. Let's just go. They got in the car and drove away. I stood there, listening to the silence they left behind. My chest hurt. Deep. Sharp. But I walked back into the living room, sat down slowly, and looked around at my world. Now no one insults me, I whispered. No one kicks me out of my own house. I touched Tom's picture gently. I didn't let our hard work go to waste. Yes, I was hurt, but I was satisfied. Because for the first time in a long time, I chose myself. A few months passed. I didn't hear from Daniel much after that day. But news has a way of traveling, especially in a small town. The business he was so confident about failed. The loan he took without thinking twice? The bank didn't care about excuses. Without my house as backup, without my savings to fall on, reality hit him hard. They had to sell their car first, then their house. I heard they moved into a small rented place across town. No backyard, no pride, just survival. Clara, who once walked into my home with her chin high and her perfume loud, now kept her head down at the grocery store. Daniel, my son, looked tired, older, humbled. And the saddest part? None of it happened because I chose charity. It happened because they chose greed over respect. Because they thought I was weak. Because they believed love was something you could use as a tool. One afternoon I sat by the window, sunlight warming my hands, and I thought about everything. Did it hurt? Yes. He is still my son. But regret is a heavy teacher. And sometimes life is the only one who can give the lesson. And here's what I learned. Never mistake kindness for weakness. Never trade your self-respect for someone else's approval. And never allow anyone, not even your own child, to treat you like you are disposable. Love your children. Support them. Sacrifice for them. But do not let them stand on your shoulders just to push you down. Because respect isn't automatic. It's earned, even in family. And the day you start respecting yourself is the day the world is forced to do the same. And if anyone ever forgets who built this life, they'll remember me. Did my story touch your heart? Then like it and subscribe to my little corner of lessons, laughs, and life wisdom. I promise there's plenty more where that came from.